ben hier in Beeldverhaal Amsterdam en met een hele speciale reden. Er is vandaag namelijk een signing van dit boek. En dit boek is fantastisch. Het was vorige week, 2 weken terug eigenlijk al, was het de Nederlandse niet te missen op comic.nl. Wij hebben de auteur, hebben een interview met Ning. Welcome Ning.
Hello.
Hello, you are the writer of the fantastic graphic novel Kind. Can you tell me something about why this graphic novel is important and why it is fantastic?
You know the comics, in China we say comics or we say 连环画. The graphic novel, these words I think start from, in China start from 2013 or 14. So the Chinese people the first time to know graphic novel, these words. When we first time to hear these words, we think, okay, what's the difference with the traditional comics, with the difference with European comics? So in my mind, graphic novel is more art. It's more for adult, not only for kids, for children. So even the story or the book is for adult. It means we can talk about some topics or feeling, or we can talk about some topics like only for adult. So I think for the people, normally if the people love art, they should to know what the different art in the world. So we use this way to introduce the more strong story and the more art story to the people. Yeah.
Can you tell me, because Kind has a really important stories about one-child policy. What was the inspiration for you to write such a story?
Because the first reason, because my cousin, actually she is my wife, her cousin, she died 2010 during Angoulême festival. So at that time she was 27 years old, and I saw their family, how happiness family was broken when the daughter died. So I really want to use this way to remind my cousin. It's the first reason. The second reason is in China, we have a lot of this kind of family who lost their only one kids. And I really want people, when the people read the story, they should be know there is a lot of this kind of family around us. They need help, and we can use this way to try our best to get some help for this kind of families. And also I'd like to remind the people, do not forget this kind of history in China. Yeah.
And I can imagine it's kind of controversial, not in quote-unquote the free world, but especially in China, where media and being critical of the government is really hard. How hard is it? Because the graphic novel is not being published in China yet.
Not yet. Yeah, because you know, we have the different system in China. So some book we can publish in the foreign country because you are more freedom. You can publish any book you want. But in China, we have some points we can get because like the sexy, religions, politics, we won't talk about this in the book. So this book, I try my best to publish in China in the future, not now, in the future. But I don't know when, maybe next year, maybe next month, maybe in 5 years, but maybe never, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I think this book is a candle for dream. I finished my dream. I published the book in Italian, in France, in UK, now come to in Dutch. Hopefully we can publish the 5 language. It's my own language because in China also some friends of mine, also some readers, they know this book, they want to read, but now it's impossible.
One of the things that amazed me when I read that all the stories are really layered. and it made me want to know more about the one-child policy and what's happening in China. Did you get any reactions from people in China? Because people will probably read it on I don't know where, maybe an internet site or illegal copy or stuff. What do Chinese people think about a story like this?
Yeah, for each Chinese people, I think the age is the age over 20. So everybody know the one-child policy. Like I am the one child in my family since I was born in 1971. But the one-child policy will start from 1980s, the beginning of 80s, until to 2020. So in the past 40 years, each Chinese family should be the single family. You know, for the Chinese kids, we have a hard life because, for example, the COVID. In COVID, if one member of a family got sick, went to the hospital, like my parents, so there's no any people can help me to take care of the parents because we only one child and we still have to work. And so in China, for all the Chinese people, we have such this kind of feeling is in the future. If I have the chance, I can have 2 or 3 kids. I don't want to have one alone. It's two side. And 2020 we opened, so you can have 2 or 3 or more kids if you want. But for this kind of people who lost their own child, normally the parents age over 50 or 60 or 70 years old. So there is no meaning for this kind of people. They really want to have kids again or become the parents again, but they have no chance. So I think this book for this kind of people, even they cannot become the parents again, but I do think they have, in their heart, they really want have a kid, whatever born from them or not.
Let's switch it out. It's an incredible book. Everybody should read it and buy it. You work with 4 different stories, 4 artists. How was that? Because China is a big country. How did that come about?
Actually, the 4 artists, I know them since a long time ago. I know each other, know each artist. So when I start this project, in my mind, I really want to talk about 4 stories. I'm also to combine whether I should find one artist to make 4 stories, use one style, or 4 artists for 4 stories, use 4 different styles. So because this book for me is important, I do think maybe the more people can read this book. I'd like to see to introduce more Chinese artists, to introduce more Chinese art to European people, to the world. So finally I decided to find 4 artists. So I contact each artist online because we are living in the different cities. One in Shanghai, one in Xi'an, one in Shenzhen, and one in Chengdu. Each city, between the artists, each city they are living 1,000 or 3,000 kilometers away. So I start talk with 4 artists in the same time, and they sent the draft for me for check, and I feedback my suggestion, and that's all. We just use this way, very easy way, and we work together.
One last question. Can you tell me something about the scene, the comic scene, the graphic novel scene in China? Because I heard it is huge.
You mean the market?
The market.
Yeah, the Chinese market, we always say it's huge. I think it's one of the hugest in the world because we have 140 million people living in China. But for the comics market, is not as big as you imagine, because 90% market in China is for manga, 90%. And even now, more and more European bang Disney or comics from US, they into the Chinese market, but I think it's not big enough. For the Chinese people, they still want to see the books for children, for kids, for teenagers, and only few people, a part of people, they read bang Disney, they read comics very often, so they like to see the difference. But I hope in the future we can have more and more European bang Disney can be published in China, and also I can introduce more European artists, European book to Chinese readers. And for the market in China, even we say huge, but actually it's small. For the European bang Disney, it's small. Now it's quite around 10 to 15% in the market.
But do they know, like the biggest American and European, like Asterix and Superman and Spider-Man, and the really famous ones from Europe and from, do the Chinese people know? Are they getting published there?
Yeah, actually, for example, for the Belgian very famous character Ding Ding in China, actually, I know Ding Ding since how many years old? Maybe I'm 10 or 15 years old. I know Ding Ding, it means 40 years ago. And Asterix from France, a lot of people know. And because in China, we have the children's channel in television, they have the cartoon or animation they show in the television. Also, a lot of Chinese publishers, they import a lot of book from Europe, like Ding Ding or Asterix. And since 2005 until now, in following, I introduce more European bang Disney to Chinese market. More and more readers, they know you have very great artists like Moebius, like Topi, like Huang Houguan Nido, Emmanuel Labarge, a lot of, including the Holland artists, because we have some books also published in China. And this is another job of me, because I'm one of the publisher in China. So when I select the book published in China, I'm tracing the difference, not only in French comics, but also Holland, Germany, Italian, Switzerland, a lot of different comics.
But Ning, is that also with in the back of your mind, no nudity, no religion, and it's kind of hard, I can imagine, to find out comics that are BDs that are really suited for the Chinese market.
Yeah, I actually, in Europe, if the book for adult, you cannot say which book is a normal. We say normal because normally each book you will have sexy, naked, or some people talk about politics or religions. But except that, you still have 1,000 different comics without politics, religions, or sexy. So for this kind of book, when we publish in China, it's more easy, and it's enough for Chinese reader. Maybe in the future, after 10 years or 20 years, following the Chinese market, it's more open. Maybe we will have some this kind of book can be published in China, but I don't know when. But I hope it's quite be soon.
Thank you very much for the interview. The book is called Kind. Everybody should buy it and read it. It's a fantastic read. Thank you and enjoy Amsterdam.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this year is Chinese rabbit year. Yep.
so I can give you a small rabbit.
Do you write in every book something else?
Yeah,
different?
this is my first time to write the comics. I will write. I have already idea about the next series. Yeah, it's a talk about the similar like this, but now it's a secret.
Nee, dit laten we hier.
And we're very happy because this book was selected by US Eisner Award. So for us, it's very lucky, and we have a strong idea to do the best in the future.
Peter, jij bent de uitgever van het boek Kind.
Ja,
Dat
klopt.
is heel bijzonder, want jullie zijn niet standaard een stripuitgeverij.
Nee, we zijn eigenlijk gestart als de uitgeverij rond Boerke. Dus alles van Pieter de Poorteren, omdat we een 360 graden productiehuis hebben. Maar het uitgeven is er een beetje bijgekomen en werd gaandeweg leuker en leuker. En aangezien wij Boerke ook de uitgeefrechten in het buitenland verkopen, onder meer in China via Ning Wang, de auteur van Kind, is in het kader van het Made in China Festival dat we op dit moment in de maand maart mee organiseren met de mensen van Made in China. Hebben we besloten om Ning's boek te vertalen in het Nederlands, want wij kennen eigenlijk de Chinese stripcultuur niet. En we hebben tijdens dit festival samen een tentoonstelling gebouwd met een historisch overzicht van Chinese stripverhalen van 1935 tot 2022.
En wat dacht je aan dat je Kind las, of dat je de spec kreeg te horen, wat dacht jij van, dat gaan wij uitgeven, want daar is in Nederland een grote markt voor. Op Nederland en België dus.
Ja, weet je, het is een verhaal over mensen. Het heeft eigenlijk niets te maken met politiek, met systemen, etc. Uiteraard speelt het zich af tegen die achtergrond, maar het gaat over emoties, het gaat over mensen die een kind verliezen, dat is een redelijk universeel thema. Maar wat dan in die omstandigheid van de één-kind-politiek, waarbij je dan met je rug tegen de muur staat.
Ja. Wat zijn je verdere plannen in de stripwereld? Naast Boerke.
Naast Boerke, we hebben de leesstripreeks, lees-koppelteken trip, waarbij dat we via plezante stripverhalen met heel veel tekst kinderen en jongeren willen aanzetten tot lezen en toch ergens ook een herwaardering van het stripverhaal als volwaardige literatuur. Dus dat is een reeks waar we per jaar twee uitgaven van doen. Uiteraard komt er ook een nieuw album van Boerke. En op vraag van de stripspeciaalzaken gaan we ook door op het pad van de Chinese stripvertaling in het Nederlands. Aangezien er blijkbaar niemand die vertalingen doet, gaan we daarmee door.
En we hebben net gehoord dat er aardig wat mensen zijn die in China strips maken.
Ja, best wel. Absoluut.
Wacht af, dankjewel voor je tijd.